This topic comes to us from Hunter. He wrote in and said, how can I improve my running to the net volleys? Okay, so I see this is a huge problem area for tennis players, Hunter. I'm really glad you asked this question because it's a really important topic. And I actually have some footage right now from a recent student, actually the last student that I worked with, I'm going to show you, that is just a perfect illustration of what not to do. So I'm not trying to like call this student out. It's just, I see this all the time, constantly, and this is just the most recent example. So let's take a look at this. And the theme here we're going to be talking about is prioritizing closeness over balance or preparedness. So let's take a look. And you're going to be paying attention here to the player, and red over here is my student. I'm just getting ready to put up a serve or a toss for a serve over on the other side. So that's what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and play the point, and I'll let you see what happens first. Approaching net, and whoop, forgot about the ball. Now, in fairness, this is a kind of an extreme, scenario. This is kind of an extreme example, but that's what makes it a perfect example. That's what makes it a perfect illustration. So let's break this down. So this player is hitting this ball, deciding to come to the net. Now, what we're going to look for specifically here is what his feet are doing right around when I make contact with the ball. We're going to go a little bit past contact here, just to make it apples to apples when we look at a pro example in a second. And so I'm getting ready for the passing shot. I'm hitting right now. So when I'm hitting, I want you to look at the position that my student's feet are in. And now we're going to inch forwards a little bit past contact. So he just landed from that stride. The ball's just coming off my racket. And so the ball's on its way now. And he's just taken another stride and another stride and another stride. And he just kind of ran right past the ball. Now, again, like in fairness, like this is kind of an extreme, he probably thought this was like maybe hitting the net or it was going to be a net court or something. He just kind of missed it. But this footwork pattern is exactly what happens that gives players trouble. So we're going to leave the video right here. So the ball is already off my racket. And so I want you to look at my student, okay? So this is how not to do it. And now we're going to go over to a professional example. Let's take a look at the Bryan brothers. So this is going to be a serve and volley from Bob on this side. And we're going to look at the same pattern here. So he hits his serve, immediately comes forwards into the court. Now here's the hit. The ball just came off of the racket of the returner. So here's the return right here. And I want you to watch Bob. What position are his feet in immediately after that return gets hit? This position right here is called a ready position. So he's widening his feet. By the way, look at his brother up at the net. Both of them are in a wide stance. So what he's not doing here is running forwards. The reason is he doesn't know until after he hits this split step whether or not the ball is going this way, or it's going to be a drop shot, or it's going to be a lob over Mike's head. Like, he has no idea what's going to happen to the ball. He has a pretty good idea based on, he's obviously an incredible athlete and he's got good anticipation, but he doesn't know for sure. So he's making a split step here and he's balancing himself, even though he's only one step inside the baseline. Think about that for a second. All he's done here is hit his serve and taken one step after landing from his serve, and he goes into a split step. It's because he doesn't know where the ball is going, and he needs to be ready to go anywhere. So he balances himself, pushes in the direction of the ball, sets himself up, hits this volley, and I want you to watch how he repeats that. So he's going to move forwards to the net. He's just inside the service line now, which is still for most tennis players really far back. He's going to take one more step forwards and then make another split step right here. And so you can see here how Bob and Mike are perfectly synced. They're perfectly together at the exact same instant, getting prepared and ready, because they don't know if it's a lob. They don't know if it's a passing shot. They don't know if it's going middle, if it's going angle, if it's going down the line. They don't know. And so they're balancing themselves. Now, here's the thing. These are world-class, like some of the best doubles players of all time, like ever, right? And they're still going to the trouble of balancing themselves every single time the ball gets hit on the other side. And so contrast that with, again, with my student, like just for contrast here, not to like laugh at them or make fun of them, but this is what's normal. This is what's normal for tennis players, is hit the passing shot. And what my student is really doing here is he's saying, I need to get as close as I can to the net, because if I don't get close to the net, I don't feel confident in my volleys, so I'm going to get in as far as I possibly can. And so when I hit, he's actively running, and that's why he never gets balanced or set, and he just runs right past the ball. So this is absolutely crucial. As long as you prioritize closeness over balance, you're going to struggle transitioning up to the net. The pro example is totally different because they're prioritizing balance over closeness. You just saw Bob Bryan split step one step inside the baseline. He's saying, I don't care. Like, I just need to be ready for whatever is about to come next. So why would they do that when they actually have less time? Well, that's kind of answers the question, right? Like, the ball is moving much faster. So wouldn't it be better for Bob and Mike to just like get in as close as possible? Well, no, because if they're not in a balanced position, the ball is moving so much faster for them. Like, if my student can run past my 20 mile an hour or 30 mile an hour like passing shot, if you've got, Leander Paes on the other side of the net hitting a 90 mile an hour forehand, you better be in a ready position. And so I think normal tennis players, like non-elite professional tennis players, just feel the urgency or need of like, I got to get up there or else I'm kind of stranded. But the reality is you have to take your time and get balanced. So the bottom line is the pros prioritize balance over closeness. They know that poor preparation is going to be a disaster if they're close. If Bob and Mike just run forwards and they get super, super close, but they're not balanced, that's a disaster at their level. There's no time to respond. And so if they shoot themselves in the foot further by like being in mid-stride when an opponent hits the ball, there's no chance. The vast majority of tennis players do not split step. Even those of you watching right now who are like, oh yeah, like I know about this, like I've been told to split step a million times, you probably don't split step either. And I'm just saying this based on my experience of doing thousands of lessons and clinics and like tens of thousands of hours on the court with everyday tennis players. Even if you think you split step, you're probably not. Or if you are, your timing, isn't precise. And so you're still not as balanced as you should be. So if you want more coaching on this, do a search on YouTube for Essential Tennis Split Step. We've got a whole bunch of lessons on it. It's absolutely critical. It starts with this. Don't even think about volley technique when you're coming into the net until you get yourself balanced first. You can practice your technique like all day with a ball machine, and that's great, and you're going to feel fantastic, and you're going to feel super confident. You're going to feel like, oh man, I'm the best volleyer ever. And then in real life, if you skip the split step, all that practice and training totally goes out the window. It's totally useless because you put yourself in a compromised position. So Hunter, hopefully that makes sense. Work on your split step, brother. It's the most important part of this.